All right, the Bugsnax got conception. They got him. They ate him.
No.
No. Oh no, he's okay.
I was gonna say, I sure hope not. I don't feel eaten.
I'm so glad. All right, well, the man who needs no introduction, that old SDAT magic hat. It's Conception. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm living the dream.
Aren't we all?
What do we got going on tonight?
All right. Well, unsurprisingly to probably a lot of you, I have Bugsnax for you. Sure, right? I've done this before. It's not new. But the category is somewhat new. So the category that I'll be running today is what we call all bosses. Me and my good friend Limey actually got to run a quote-unquote co-op version of this at SGDQ this past summer. And yeah, it's just a really fun category that blends a little bit extra of the Bugsnax content with a lot more like glitches and out of bounds and stuff. So we're going to have a good time, I think. Before we jump in though, I believe we had a bid war open for the color of our journalist, our main character.
We sure did.
What did we land on?
There was $50 went into orange.
Orange.
We're orange.
Color. We're oranging it up. Okay, good color. All right. So, without further ado, I think it's time we get started, so we can get the show on the road here. Timing's a little weird in Bugsnax, so I'm going to start the game, and I'm going to try to count you down as best as I can with the time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I was like 1 second off. That's fine. All right. Welcome to Bugsnax. If for some reason you haven't seen me run this game before, you haven't seen it run before in general, this is a game where we play as these furry humanoid type creatures named Grumpuses. Specifically, we're a journalist coming here to investigate the island of Snacktooth and the inhabitants on it and learn a little bit about these Bugsnax creatures, which we're going to see. But first, we have to get out of bounds pretty much right away. So we're on some environment out of here. Then jump on this, and would you look at that? I'm walking on absolutely nothing. There it is. Yeah, this skips an opening cinematic cutscene of the game, and also about 3-ish minutes probably. That's Philbo. Hi, Philbo. Bye, Philbo. We're not going to do any of Philbo's quests because we're gonna try to go not out of bounds. We're gonna try and hop on this rock. There we go, and then take some parkour type action, ride this level barrier, and then go out of bounds. And voila, we have skipped the entirety of the introduction. We are now in our second area, Garden Grove here. And Garden Grove, no matter, I've said this in other runs of Bugsnax that I've done in the past, no matter what category you're doing, Garden Grove is going to be done exactly the same way. You have to do the quests to get by. It's the only area in the game that you can still get out of bounds, but the next loading zone trigger is not there until you complete the requirements. The only loading zone in the game that works this way for some reason. But that's cool because we get to do some fun stuff here. So we're going to be slinging some ketchup. We got a new tool that slings sauce, and we're going to put some ketchup in very specific locations. And then we're going to attempt to catch one of our Bugsnax through the ground here. Let's see how successful that is. No, let's see one more try. No, not going to do it. We can't spend too much time on that trick because you might have seen I have flung some ketchup on the Shishka bug down here. The Shishka bug only stays stunned for so long, which means that we can't be spending too much time worrying about the cycles of trying to get this rider through the ground, or else we're going to miss out on the Shishka bug, which is way more annoying to deal with. So we're going to take the easier of the two back. So we get the Frider the long way, unfortunately. Probably loses us about 5-7 seconds, but it's really not too bad. And then we're going to throw this trap here for the final one that we need. Cool, we didn't have that one get away. It can be a little finicky sometimes. And then that's all the Bugsnax in this area that we need to complete the quest. We're also going to have a little tutorial section where we grab a journal and learn about, kind of how the pause menu works and the different things in our start menu, like how to fast travel and look at pictures and your items and stuff like that. So there won't be too much going on. So while we're getting set up for that, I would like to take a second to highlight second of 2 incentives that we had for Bugsnax today, which is a bonus DLC boss. So this category is all bosses specifically of the base game, but there is a DLC, free DLC expansion that came out about a year ago, and in it there is a 5th boss. If we meet that incentive, I will be fighting that boss for you. It is an RNG nightmare of a boss, but it is very amusing and gets to use some different mechanics. So CJ, how close are we to making that a reality? Do you know?
Oh, we're close. We're darn close. We are at $381 out of 400.
Okay, so we need less than $20 if my math checks out. Yes, okay. I think we can make that happen. We still got an hour-ish of this. A little less, hopefully. So we got time. I can do it at the end of this run. I can mix it into this run. I can kind of do it whenever I want. So
sure,
let's make it happen.
Can I jump in with a quick donation? We just got one.
Yes, please.
We got a $5 donation from Tempest Mask. SDAT's back, and I had to jump along for the Bugsnax run as I finished my dinner. Always a pleasure to see something done by a good friend in Conception, especially since I'm all for seeing those legendary Bugsnax. That said, best of luck, Con. Let's do it for the kids.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hope one side effect of this game is that it does tend to leave people pretty hungry because the food's looking pretty nice. So it's right around dinner time where I live. So if you happen to be eating and want to throw some money towards a good cause, now's a good time for it. Eat and donate. It can only make you feel good in so many ways, right?
What's the most delicious looking Bugsnax?
Well, okay. So my favorite food in the world is cheeseburgers. So I got to go with the Bunger because it's like a gigantic cheeseburger. Also, just went out of bounds there, by the way. I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, so any of those, this particular level, though, we're not going to see the snack itself. Also has a bug snack called Ribblepede, which is a rack of ribs. Ooh, looks pretty tasty. Pretty tasty. Yeah, so we did a quick out of bounds and got into this area earlier than we were supposed to. This area is called Scorched Gorge, and we're gonna get out of bounds really quickly again. All we had to do to get out of bounds on that other one was climb onto some geometry, technically within the level but outside of the bounds. And then now, cool, first try, we're going to use a brand new cool tool called the launch pad, which launches you, and we're gonna manipulate the way that it works. So the launch pad is technically weight based. So if you put something heavy on top of the launch pad and try to fling it, it will fling it about half the distance that it would normally, which counts if you also stand on it with your own body. However, we circumvent that by a very precise timing. We put the trap down, or in this case, the trap is put down for us. We run across it. Then at the last possible second, while we still have like a little bit of our foot on it, but oh boy, but come on this way. Ah, darn, just missed it. But the last possible second, when it changes the range, we fling it and it gives our body the trajectory to go the full range. So yeah, that's a little way that we fling ourselves out to bounds that we're not supposed to be in. And yeah, it makes for some interesting mechanics. Speaking of, we're in a brand new area again called Sands. This is an area that's probably like 70-ish% through the story, so we're already moving on quite a bit. This is like one of the last 3 biomes of Snacksburg that we are visiting, are meant to be visiting, I should say. All right, so we got that. Got to fling down some sauce here. Just reminding myself exactly what I need to do. So yeah, it kind of shows you how quickly you can get this get out of bounds in this game and kind of break it wide open here. I'm going to fling this one at a very long distance. So Buffalo Locust is not a mandatory snack to complete the quests in this area, but it is a mandatory snack for completing a side quest line that gets me access to one of the bosses. So I'm kind of just, while I'm progressing the story to get it to where I need to in order to start unlocking some of these boss fights, I am also just grabbing snacks that I'm probably going to have to use later to progress other storyline. This area also has these 2 enchiritos, is what they're called. They're kind of burrito bug snacks. Typically, what we would do is we would coat the ball in chocolate, like we have done here. There's so many weird sentences when I run this game that I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I get to say that and it makes sense. But yeah, coat the ball in chocolate. Then we are supposed to be leading the black Razzie through this like underground maze. And then typically what I'll do is I'll just dodge those Enchiritos by stunning them and like getting them to run into rocks and stuff. But I'm going to actually take them because I'm going to need, for one side quest, I'm going to need 3 aggressive and meaty Bugsnax, of which Enchiritos definitely count. They're definitely aggressive, and they definitely are burritos filled with meat. Yeah, Bugsnax is a very special game. Last bit for the quests in this area is to grab some cheese, and now our good pal Shelda here, we're gonna be basically we did like 5 quests all in that time period here, and then the game is very generous, so you don't have to do a quest, return it, do a quest, return it. Oh, one of them didn't break, darn. Okay, do a quest, return it, do a quest, return it, etc. So that is very generous of them. Which one is it that broken? I see. But usually if it were to go properly, get over here, you can be mad at me instead. If it were to go properly, this guy would be broken. This is one of the compound Bugsnax that you have to kind of make explode. But I had a little trouble getting him into the lake at the start, and he decided to be a bit aggressive about it. So I have to wait on that one. So I gotta wait the 20 seconds. And then we should, in theory, be done with the quest line, as long as nothing else gets in our way here. Guy's chasing me down. He's really upset. It's not my fault, okay? All right, now he should be exploding. There we go. Finally. All right, there we go. Little delay, more delayed than I would have liked, but we got through it. Not a big deal. And now we're going to be taking a shortcut into one of the other final biomes of the area, which is called Boiling Bay. Ironically enough, in this speed run, there is only one area that we won't go in, and the area that we won't be going in is the first one unlocked after you get to the hub area. It's currently unlocked for me to go into now, but we just have no reason to do it, so we won't be. Okay, Boiling Bay, we still got to get a few more Bugsnax to kind of finish up this area too and progress the story. So we're gonna be get back over here. Gonna be leading our good pal, the Noodler, over with some cheese sauce. Gonna fling that. I need this Noodler, but he's on fire. As you can imagine, I can't catch her Bugsnax that are on fire. I gotta extinguish them somehow. Same goes for the frozen Bugsnax. I have to melt them before I can catch them, or else I will freeze. Come on, go my way. So this part is a little bit of RNG. So you can see I threw that trap there, yeah? And that trap is to help me get one of the Bugsnax, the red Banopper. That's flying between those 3 trees at the moment. It's kind of an RNG bit as to what trees it's going to want to do. So right now I'm getting no, you're going to attack me instead. There you go. Right now it's choosing not to help me out in the slightest, which is unfortunate, but this is actually like exceptionally bad RNG. But I also do need one of these coconut pieces. Oh, they both are gonna get hit at the same time, of course. Okay, got that one at least. Let's see. It's probably faster if I get him to stun at this point. Yeah. There we go. Cool. That was bad RNG, but I got to do some cool stuff like catching Bugsnax in the air, so that was neat. Oh, wow. Okay. Aggressive back there. Easy. I already won. Okay. All right. So this is Floofty, by the way, another character that we have to unlock. Essentially, how this game works is there's all these biomes, and the people of Snaxburg have spread out to the different biomes after they kind of fractured as a society. And our job is to get everyone to kind of return back home and unite everybody again. So that is the kind of the very generalized version of what the story is here. But yeah, so essentially what we're doing is we're progressing it enough to get enough of the main story unlocked that all of the bosses become available to us via those side quest lines that I mentioned earlier. So that's some good old story progression there. There's actually one hidden clue that we need to get over here on the beach in order to also progress the story to where we need to. But then we get to utilize the game's fast travel, which is really interesting. This game didn't have fast travel at launch, but after the implementation of the DLC does, so as long as you visited an area, you can then fast travel to it, which saved us a lot of time for speedrunning. The game freezes here for a second, so we were able to get into this area out of bounds and progress pretty quickly. However, if I were to just warp back to the main area, Snacksburg, the main story would not glitch out and progress as it should have. I have to take the load zone back to one of the beginner areas in order for that to happen. So that's kind of why we warp there, and the screen freezes for a second because it's essentially progressing our story by like 75% because it has no idea what's going on.
Everything good?
All right. So this part here, so as I mentioned near the top, we are a journalist. Everyone that's in town is capable of being interviewed in order for story progression purposes, but also because some of them have story-based clues that you need to progress the story. So we're not going to interview everybody. We're only going to interview the people that we need to do to progress the story, but that does turn out to be like almost half of them, unfortunately. So we have a long segment here, which is just interviewing and mashing. So CJ, if you got any messages for us, that would be really good timing.
Well, I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that we are raising money for a great cause in Save the Children. This would be our 4th event for Save the Children, and we've had a really good start so far to this event, so let's keep that energy going. You know, it's this is the land of the plentiful, Bugsnax, where food is literally the animals walking around that turn you into cheeseburgers and burritos and ribs. But unfortunately, we live in a world with an infant mortality rate, and it's sad. It's very sad. So let's make the world a better place. Get those donations in. $10 feeds a child for 10 days.
Yeah,
there you go.
Talk about doing work with charities that are directly impactful and are able to utilize their resources so well that $10 can feed a child for 10 days. That's actually incredible. Oh no. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay. So I was going to interview Triffany there. What she just took off, right? She just kind of sprinted away. What that is that all of the I haven't had to explain this in a speedrun before, really. I don't think. What that is that all of these characters have a set time per day that they poop, and they have to run to the bathroom. And I happened to just take a little bit too long extra of time, and I ran into Triffany's poop schedule. So she is in the bathroom.
Is that a real thing?
That is absolutely real thing.
Schedule?
They have a poop schedule. Yes, they absolutely do. Isn't that something? Isn't this game delightful? It's just the
pretty
best.
Funny.
It's the best. I love it. So I would be doing this after that interview, but because of the poop schedule, I'm just going to try and preempt it. And this also progresses the time of day anyway, so that's pretty useful. I'll be able to interview her here while I'm waiting for that to kind of run down, which I'd have to do anyway. It's definitely still slower to do this, but it doesn't lose as much time as you might think it would. Or just kind of doing things a little bit out of order, but it also makes things that I have to wait for progress a little bit faster. So it has some give and take. One thing you always have to remember when doing this category, so she has this journal. Get out of my way. She has this journal, and there's a clue in it. Like, sometimes don't forget that clue, because then you'll progress to the point that you're just too far away, and then you have to warp back and waste all this extra time. Where did you go, my boy Cromdo? Where is he? Oh, he's all the way up there. Bummer. Okay. He does walk far away, so that does lose some more time. All right. Now we can progress this. Okay. There's a neat little swag trick here as well that only saves like maybe half a second if I'm able to do it, and I was. So we're meant to run up the stairs and grab those plans. And then you can just run back down the stairs, but if you hop about halfway up the stairs and grab it while you're falling down, it saves you about half a second, maybe a second at most. So it's a little bit swaggy, but it does actually have utility too. We're taking one small pit stop, and we're going to capture 3 out of the 4 pieces of the Sandopede Bugsnax, which is a submarine sandwich Bugsnax that when you explode it like that, splits into 4 parts, but we don't need the 4th part. That is because, as you might see in the lower left-hand corner, is actually my Bugsnax inventory. And I only have 6 slots. In the regular game, you can actually upgrade that to as many as 18 slots, but to do so, you have to catch Bugsnax and then donate them to another character's barn, and that takes a lot of time. It's a lot of Bugsnax to donate. It's basically, you'll have to donate like it's like 30-ish Bugsnax, I think, maybe a little bit more to upgrade your inventory, and that just wastes so much time in a speed run. So it's not really able to be done from that perspective. So we do have to end up doing a little bit of inventory management, which is why I'm sticking at no more than 5 right now, because I am actually about to fight off one of the bosses now. So yeah, as alluded to, we have this category, all bosses. It could also be called all legendary Bugsnax. In the base game, there's 4 legendary Bugsnax that you can take down with larger sequences. This is going to be the first of them. We're going to be fighting all 4 of them, and maybe the bonus DLC 5th one if we're able to get that met. So hopefully we can. First one is called Mothza Supreme. So it's a giant moth shaped like pizza.
Hey, check an old-timey.
So it's gonna be a pretty fun fight. It's a little RNG-y. It's a little bit RNG, but it's still pretty good.
Whatever. On to the real price.
Essentially, actually, we'll let the story progress a little bit here, so you can see exactly what it is that we're gonna be doing. But
This is the place. Looks like we got
yeah, we're gonna be fighting essentially 4 of these, and this is gonna be the first one. All of the bosses are tied to a character's side quest line, so we were playing around with our good friend Cromdo here, who's like a used car salesman type guy, and we're gonna complete his side quest so we can access the boss fight.
Whoa, that is something.
We're about to see this here in a second. So Mothza Supreme, there's these 4 stations that are kind of around this flat table pyramid type thing here. And how we're going to defeat Mothza is by flinging things at her to drop her to the ground, and then we're going, as you can see, they have these little pizza cutter type attachments, and that will help take her down to size, literally. Yeah, so here comes Mothza Supreme, and also the things we're throwing at her are called another Bugsnax called Bombinos, which are essentially giant pizza roll Bugsnax, which I think is pretty neat too. We're doing something that looks kind of like it would be slow, but I promise you it's actually not. Oh my gosh, please just grab it. So, Bombinos come on fire by default, as you can see the ones in front of me here. All of them ones that are placed in like the arena are on fire. The one that we use to open this little like trap door section is not, the only one that's not on fire by default. So we have 2 options. Essentially, as you're about to see, when Mothza stops at a station, she has these little cyclones that pop up. And so we have 2 options, which are to wait for a cyclone to coincidentally hit one of the Bugsnax and extinguish it, or go and grab the original Bugsnax as it's flung off into the distance and run it back, which tends to be on the faster side, unless you got really lucky with wind or something like that. We have to hit Mothza Supreme 3 times. As you can see, she moves between stations here. You don't want to fling that too early. For some reason, there's a little bug where if you fling it while Mothza's in motion, it'll kind of just fling off to the side as opposed to where you actually have it, lined up to. So you have to, you can't be too fast there, unfortunately. Last phase is a little bit different. You can't fling the Bombino at it because Mothza Supreme just stays in these big cyclones. But you can get into a cyclone and fling it upwards in hopes that it hits her, but it does get a little hairy, even sometimes as hairy as it looks like it goes right through her. Which it certainly did at the one I threw there. So I couldn't tell if it went right through her or I just had a bad angle, but either way, it could be a little bit frustrating to hit. So let's see if we can get a little bit lucky here and try and hit her with one. Oh my gosh, that one did miss, but it was close. Hitbox is certainly a little bit finicky. And it's definitely harder than you would think to hit a piece of pizza with a pizza roll. Weirdly enough, not trying to do that by default. But finally, down with the 3rd fight. And we're going to feed it to our good pal, Cromdo, who is definitely hungry for some pizza. Ooh, and it's on fire. I don't know why that is, but...
Night.
Okay, whoops, not pause. All right, cool. So now we're gonna warp back to, that's one boss down out of the 3, maybe 4 remaining. We're going to take one small pit stop into Scorched Gorge over here to capture a Bugsnax we're gonna need for a quest. So we're gonna do that. Cool. Grab it that way, and then we can warp back. Cool. That is a white sheep poof. Those only come out at night, so kind of attests itself to the routing. I knew for a fact that when the Masa Supreme fight triggers, it makes it night automatically, which is pretty cool. So I knew that when I was helping to route this category with my friend Limey, that we would want to combine those two things so we wouldn't have to sleep and change the time ourselves, because that tends to be quite slow. Okay, so now the aggressive meaty Bugsnax part comes into play here. And we get to get rid of some of our inventory, so that's good. Now we have one of the more frustrating mini games for me. This is a mini game where our good pal Chandlo comes around here, and he's trying to get these weights. You have to kind of time it out so that they land on top of his head. And again, very much easier said than done, at least for me.
Keep 'em coming.
What are you looking at?
But I was able to do it in one lap, which is not perfect, but it is pretty good for me.
Now let's. But that's if I.
Cool. I'm not going to progress that one just yet. I'm actually going to go talk to Wiggle here for a second. I actually did this a little bit more out of order than I should have. I should have come to Wiggle first, but that's fine. And just progressed all of the Chandlo stuff at the same time. Would have been faster, but yeah, a little out of order. Waste a couple seconds, but not a big deal. We have to do that quest, or else he will just keep bugging us, unfortunately. So we're gonna progress this with another interview, and then give a couple of snacks that she's looking for, and then her side quest line actually freezes. So that's something we have to navigate as well, is that sometimes side quest lines will not progress unless you actually like leave an area or come back, or you can't progress them until you hit a certain story threshold, a story flag, if you will. So we took care of pretty much most, if not all, of the story flags, but we do have to do something like this, come back into an area after another visit before we can progress type shenanigans. So we're going to be doing as much of the Wiggle questline as we can here.
So in 2 weeks, needless.
Then feed the white sheep hoof. There we go. Oh no. I did a rookie mistake. Bummer. Okay, it's not too bad to fix it. So one thing that is kind of that can be a bummer with this is so we talked about how fortuitous it is to be able to kind of do all of the quests in advance and then turn them in all at once. And it is fortuitous, but sometimes you have to remember that you do not want to get ahead of yourself and try to progress a quest before you have it, which is what happened in this case. I fed Wiggle a Bugsnax that she needed for a quest that I didn't have yet. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Yeah, I know. And thus that did not count for the quest, but was able to capture another one, so better than nothing. All right, so now we got this quest, and now we can go talk to Chandlo here, who's going to get us over to our next boss fight, actually.
Yeah, maybe I've been whim. Sounds hot.
All right, boss fight number 2, Mama Melon. So Mama Melon, she's going to be a giant watermelon. The mechanics of which to fight her are pretty simple. She's a mama. Her name is Mama Melon, which implies the existence of baby melons. In this case, they are called wee melons. What the essential mechanics to fighting her, essentially, we're going to bow capture one of her babies, so she gets mad, then she's going to charge one of the pillars, and then while she runs into it, you drop the pillar on her head, and then, you know, boom goes the dynamite. We have to hit her 4 times total, actually, that way. What I did, actually, though, was I went out of bounds, mainly just for fun, but to show off a trick that used to exist in this game but doesn't anymore. So you can actually get out of bounds and get into this boss fight area early, but you can't progress into the fight yet because the story trigger for the line is based off of Chandlo's dialogue in there, so Chandlo still has to come in here and make things happen. But in older categories, there would be some benefits to coming in early, such as you could catch this Bugsnax while you're waiting, so it saves time. And then you also used to be able to drop a pillar early and then kind of use your body to run it into Mama Melon, and that would actually end a phase early. Like that would count as a phase of the boss fight. So you would start the boss fight like already one phase ahead. But they patched in a thing where there's like an invisible wall essentially now around Mama Melon until the fight actually starts. So no more able to do that. But it was awfully tricky to make it happen anyway, because you'd have to get out of bounds pretty quickly and get in here pretty quickly, and also move that pillar quickly, which is not an easy thing to do since you don't really have control over it. Okay, that did count. All right, I was a little worried. So this boss fight can be a little finicky sometimes. You can see, like, I could capture one right away pretty much, but you don't want to capture them too early. You kind of have to wait till Mama Melon gets more into the water, or else she'll come at these pillars at a really bad angle. And then even when you drop a pillar and do the fight as intended, the pillar won't make contact, and then thus you don't get the damage. So you gotta kind of ride that line a little carefully.
I got your baby.
Can I chime in?
You absolutely can.
Well, we got 2 donations. One from Bunger
Hey.
for $10. And one from Mama CJ. Let's get things going for the kids.
Thanks.
So proud of my kid. Thank you, Con, for a great run. Thank you, Mom, for $20.
Nice, bro.
Yeah,
And just like that, the incentive is met.
Woo! Oh yeah, that means we're doing boss fight. Yeah, I should have connected that in my head a little faster, but
There you go. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's exciting. I can't wait. That's awesome. Thank you so
excited.
much for the donations. Yeah, and that is 2 boss fights down. We'll still go ahead and do the DLC boss fight at the end, just to keep it, otherwise I'd have to bop between files, which can be a little bit slow. So we'll still do the boss fight at the end, and you can see just how chaotic and interesting that boss fight can be.
Fabulous.
Speaking of, we're hopping immediately into boss fight number 3 here. All right, so Mega Maki is the name of this boss fight. I am doing things a little bit out of order than I intended, but that's okay. Mega Maki is the 3rd boss fight here of the 4 in the base game. So Mega Maki is a giant sushi dragon or flying serpent. Hard to say. Because it doesn't have wings or anything, so it's probably not a dragon. I'm gonna go with serpent, but still very, very cool. And probably.
Another empty venue.
Is it the most annoying of the boss fights? It can be. It can be. So essentially, how the fight will work is, it goes through the water and through the air, and there are these pillars that you got to throw your tripwire in between so it runs into them and explodes into pieces. You capture pieces until it shrinks down. It also throws objects at us that will destroy pillars that we might have already set up on, and that can be really frustrating to deal with. So hopefully we won't have to and we get a clean fight, but Mega Maki has been trolling me a little, so we will see how it goes. Also, just shout out, I always say this too, because this is an unskippable song. I can't skip this. I could skip a lot of dialogue, but due diligence to showcase this voice actor's singing talent. Like, absolutely just went in on this role and just threw down some bars, which I do appreciate. So thank you for doing that for us. You didn't have to go that hard, but you did. I appreciate it. Okay, so yep, we're almost through it, and then the fight will start. So again, 3 phases in this fight. The first phase, Mega Maki just stays in the water, so a lot easier to navigate, and it also does not use those projectiles that I had mentioned before, which is good too. We're going to set up there, and I'm actually going to take a photo and scan its head. This actually helps me and gives me the trajectory of what path it plans on taking, which is definitely beneficial to us, so we can kind of plan out a little easier where to put the tripwire while things are being set up here. Okay, so let's see if we can make this one happen. We have to go kind of fast, so... Nope, too slow. That did not count. No, but so we're gonna have to set up on this one back here, and hopefully this one will work out. Luckily, that one, it doesn't even set up on a pillar. Oh, it just was too not far enough. That's fine. All right, we're gonna try this. So you can also set up on this rock. I'm gonna throw it there. That, I mean, that's a pretty slow phase too, unfortunately, but that is a safer setup. So, you know, there is some benefit there. Let's see how it goes. Also, in an ideal scenario, you need to be getting 3 mini makis, which are like these smaller sushi pieces per round. But sometimes the game says no to that. But luckily it said yes to that right there, so that's good. We'll take that. Okay, let's see where we can have a decent setup. Maybe here. Try this. Nope. Already going to be a no. So we're going to set up on the same pillar that we were at before, I think, actually, to make sure we have enough time. There we go. That should be fine. And as long as we stay far away from the pillar that you know, we're kind of banking the trap on, then it won't target it. It's trying to target us and whatever pillars we are closest to. So that tends to be how the kind of the AI of the boss fight works there. All right, we're gonna toss some of these. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I do not know if I'm gonna get this last piece. Let's see. Whew, got it. That was really close, or else I would have to do a whole nother phase of that fight. So I really did not want to do that if I could avoid it. Ideally, not wanting to do that. All right, so that is Mega Maki down. That is the 3rd of the 4 main boss fights, so that is pretty cool. So that is done. We're gonna hop on over to Snacksburg, and we're gonna progress the last bit of story and check out the last biome, which is not only where the story kind of concludes, but also where the last boss fight is. We're gonna walk around there purposely. We're actually just trying to avoid some cutscenes between characters if we can. Not only is it long to have to mash through them, but they end up warping us back to our own house after like a black screen wipe. So just it wastes a lot of time doing that. If we could avoid it, that would be great. So we're going to be trying to do that at all costs. So this is Sugar Pine Woods, which is an area that you can actually access very soon, as soon as you get to Snacksburg in an out of bounds fashion. But we progressed the story to the point where we don't need to go out of bounds to get here. We can just walk right in, and we're actually not going to be spending any time in woods at all. We're just using it to get to Frosted Peak, in which we're going to do a few different things here. I'm going to grab this peanut butter because I'm not sure if I'm going to need it yet, but I might. I didn't mean to catch myself on fire, but I did, so that's just the reality of the situation. We're going to throw down, capture that, Mount Sodi, 1047, so I don't think I'll need the peanut butter, actually, but that's okay.
I like that when we're on fire, we go full Kermit. Like,
yes, absolutely full Kermit, yeah. And also, it's a decent bit of speed tech. Actually, when you're on fire, you move ever so slightly faster, just a little bit, but it counts. So it is, it's also important in a way. All right, so what we need to, so Eggabell is doing this big long run to a door that's kind of like underneath me. We're not gonna mess around with that too much. Instead, we're going to put a trap here, aim it there. Actually, that is not well placed. We're gonna pick it up. We're gonna try that again. Launch those two at each other. The fire extinguishes the ice, and the ice extinguishes the fire. And now I get 2 Bugsnax that are of use to me to progress the story. So we're gonna hop down here. Gonna be waiting for us. There she is. She's gonna ask for a bunch of different things over there on the left side, which we preemptively did because we were smart like that.
Sound good.
Very, very smart indeed. And essentially what she asked us to do, there's these 6 Bugsnax statues that you have to put in the matching Bugsnax in order to, you know, unlock the story and get the story going here. But instead of doing that, we only have to do 3 of them, and she'll get the other 3. So based off of what time of day it is when we do that, we are going to be looking at either getting the Mount Sodi and then like a Kuki, which is like a cookie bug snack that runs around, and a flutter jam if it's the daytime, or if it's nighttime, we do exactly what I did, which is to get the Stoodler and the Chili Nilly to kind of fight each other and collide. So that's what we'll end up doing. So we're on kind of like a little story progression walking simulator part here. So if we have any other messages, CJ, now is a good time.
No, we don't have any other messages. But I would like to take this opportunity to ask a question.
Yes, please.
About the story. So you've done this before.
Once or twice.
We've seen shorter categories and such. Am I correct in remembering that there's some kind of consequence to eating the Bugsnax?
To worry about.
There is. Luckily not for us as a character, because for whatever reason our character is like allergic to Bugsnax. In one story cutscene that we're not seeing in this category, you eat a Bugsnax and then you immediately have to run to the bathroom, let's say, and so we can't eat Bugsnax, but everyone else who has Bugsnax in them and their limbs turn into things, yeah, there is a bit of a consequence. As we get closer to the end, I'll explain a little bit more about that if we'd like.
For sure. Well, that's what we in the biz call a little foreshadowing.
Yes, a little foreshadowing, absolutely. Give them a little bit of a teaser. You have to. So as it turns out, we can't go through this door right now, no problem, but we did need to progress the story to having this cutscene trigger, or else the last boss fight would not even be accessible. So that's the reason why we progress the story. We don't even need to worry about it or get in the door the normal way in this category, but we did have to get things moving. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for that, which is the autosave, and then I'm actually going to reload the checkpoint, which puts me back at the entrance of this area. And the reason why I'm doing that is I need to catch one Bugsnax here, the Scoopy Banoopy, in order to progress the quest. So Scoopy Banoopy is up here. Come back here. We're going to have Scoopy Banoopy very slowly chase us into this area, because Scoopy Banoopy is a frozen Bugsnax. I cannot capture it unless it is unfrozen. So I'm gonna light myself on fire and then run into Scoopy Banoopy and then throw this trap down so it's stunned. Voila. That's how you do it. That's how you catch a Scoopy Banoopy. One of the harder Bugsnax it took for me to kind of understand how to do it. So if you're ever wondering how a fast way to do it, that is the way. Oh, we're gonna get one of those cutscenes right now that we get a black screen, wipe, and then I have to come back to this area, unfortunately. That's okay. I'm gonna run back to that exact same area that I was in. That's fine. But we have to do it because Snorpy is the person who we need to talk to, the yellow one there. Yeah, the reason why we also try to avoid talking to people while they're sleeping, by the way, is that we have these long animations where they wake up. But the plus side of that is Snorpy actually has the shortest wake up animation of all the ones that I tend to have to deal with in speedruns. So that works out pretty nicely for us. All right, so we get this other little mini game where we have to light these 7 torches. The game intends for you to use the tripwire to light every torch, but you can actually very quickly do the first 3 torches by lighting yourself on fire and then kind of parkouring across the fence and the plants and stuff like that. So it's actually quite a bit faster than doing it the intended way. But the other ones, you do have to do the intended way. We also don't want to get super close here. Chandlo, the one in the green there, whose hat I'm wearing actually at the moment. If you get too close, it'll trigger an automatic dialogue, which we don't want to trigger if we can avoid it. So we're going to hopefully not do that. And get the last torch there and go talk to our friend Snorp. Snorp is the last side quest line we need to do to get towards the last boss fight here. So we're actually going to go head back to Frosted Peak and we can fight the final boss coming up. All right, so this boss's name is Daddy Cake Legs. I can promise you it's not as spicy as it sounds. So Daddy Cake Legs is an ice cream cake boss who looks like a daddy long legs spider. This one actually has of the 4 main boss fights, this one actually has the most in terms of exploits if you can execute them well, which I'd probably have like a 50% success rate if I'm being honest. So first you want to light the wick and then light yourself on fire like that. And then if you can do so carefully, and I didn't get any of them of course, but if the idea there is you light yourself on fire and then you kind of fall down, and then you're able to use your body on fire in order. Wow, really? in order to light the candles on the side of Daddy Cake Legs there. So each of the 3 phases you have to light its candles in order to progress. Really? That was just cruel. Please just let me light something. There we go. We got one. Finally. Unfortunately, I failed on both wicks, which is spectacularly impressive. Luckily enough, the third of the phases. Oh, jeez. Come back. Thank you. All right, cool. I can start moving. The third of the phases only has 1 wick, and it's on the top of its head, which is immensely easier than getting 2 wicks on the side of its body. But that's phase 1 done. Let's see if we can get more of a exploit on phase 2. See here. I got one, but not the other. That's okay. We can work with that. Oh, I should have shot early, but had it. Oh, that should have counted. You broke it, and it was on fire. I'm surprised that didn't count, to be honest.
I bet it is. No.
It's still gonna melt it too. Oh, that's a bummer. That counts. Okay, cool. All right, and now for phase 3. So hopefully we can get the exploit on phase 3. By the way, how to fight this boss casually if you're ever like, oh, I don't know where they're supposed to end up. There's these mini cake leg pieces that are on the ground there. And if you follow them, they walk very slowly, but if you follow them, they'll take you right to where the next phase is. Luckily, as someone who's played this game for hundreds and hundreds of hours, I tend to know where they are anyway, just because I've played it quite a bit. All right, last of the 3 phases here. I think I got it. Yep, I did. There actually is a visual glitch where it says it has 2 candle wicks, but that's a lie. It turns back into 1. There it is. Capture Daddy Cake Legs. Oh, Snorpy is right here, actually, which makes my job easier. All right, and then that's actually all the boss fights done. So we're kind of in go mode, as they say sometimes in some speedruns, where now with all of the 4 main bosses complete, we are actually going to complete the game itself now. We're going to do a glitch right away to break through this door the unintended way, which is going to be to launch myself up here, throw a trap here, aim it, and then kind of use its collision, force me through the door. We can get there. But there we go. There we go. I was worried I put it a little too far so that the angle was too tight and the gap I couldn't fit in. Luckily enough, we are good. So now we're in the Undersnacks. This is basically the end game. This game actually does have a point of no return, and it very clearly puts that for you in the game. However, since we're not completing the story as intended and used a lot of skips and stuff, we bypass the warning. But this would be past the point of no return if we had played it legitimately. The Undersnacks is basically where the story gets exposed. So CJ did the professional teasing here. The consequences for eating the Bugsnax and having them kind of take over your body is that the Bugsnax are not as all cute and innocent as they seem, and they're actually parasitic. So they're using you as a host body in order to kind of take over the island itself, because the Bugsnax have roots into the island. They're using them to kind of expand and grow, so then they can take over the island and get rid of everybody else on it and have Bugsnax take over everything. There is also this character who is Lizbert. Lizbert was actually the leader of the town and is the reason why the character's fractured in the first place, is because she went missing. And as it turns out, we find out that she is here, but she has turned into the Queen of Bugsnax in order to save everybody. She was basically trying to stave off the Bugsnax infection of the island by sacrificing herself and trying to stay in control of it. However, she was not able to do that. The island is about to explode. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. That's kind of where we're at.
I'm sorry. Me? What are you?
But yeah, so we got another probably like 20 to 30 seconds before we get into the end game portion that's called the gauntlet. So any other final messages and stuff is now's a good time, my good friend CJ.
Well, my good friend Conception, it's pretty quiet on my end, but you know, glad we get to get some old SDAT energy back here. It seems, doesn't it feel like it was like not that long ago we were doing Grim Fandango?
Oh yes, that's still my PB, by the way.
Awesome.
I haven't PB'd since then. Yeah, that game is so good. That game has actually found a lot of developments as well, which I haven't kept up with, or else I'd like to get back. It's sub-hour now, so
Sub-hour.
Sub-hour, yeah.
Crazy.
I know. That's a good game, but yeah, I love the classic energy for sure. All right, so yes, the gauntlet. Now, that's where we're headed now. Basically, the island is erupting, and we have this in-game sequence that we call in the community the gauntlet, which is essentially 6 micro challenges based off of various tools that we've gotten throughout the game, except the tools are kind of flipped on their head. So, for example, the first part of the 6 mini games here. Oops, should probably start walking. Uses the snack trap, you know, that big basket looking thing where we capture Bugsnax, but instead of using it as a trap, it changes it to a snack chop. We have to defend ourselves against the Bugsnax now, not try to capture them for food. So we're gonna start chopping. We're gonna start chopping.
As for you, you may need my snack chop.
And then I'll go into the other tools as we get there. So this first one has you can exploit it a tiny bit, but not super much. So you get 2 waves of Strabbies that kind of come and attack you. We're gonna throw our trap down. Essentially, what we're gonna do is try to get as many of the bugs, the Strabbies specifically, rather, down in one shot as possible. But we've got to time it kind of carefully, in which I didn't do just now. That was actually timed pretty poorly, but that's pretty good. So we'll take that as a backup. But yeah, if you time it better, you can actually get that whole second wave in one shot. But I did not do that. All right. Gauntlet part 2 is the so we have our snack grappler, which is what we were using to grab things from a distance before, but is no longer a snack grappler. It is a snack puncher, and we're going to use it to punch snacks. The game intends for you to stay and fight these from a frontwards facing angle. However, if you fight them from the side, for the most part, you can actually fight them all off in one wave. I didn't quite nail it there, but I was still able to do it faster than intended. We're gonna hit that there and there. Ooh, that was really fast. That was very good. Okay, there's a lot that goes in there in that one little segment, so it takes a lot of explaining, which is good because this next segment is actually just you perform this as intended. There's no exploits here. But in that last segment, so first you do those waves where you're punching, you know, the donut-shaped ones. From the side, you can actually punch all 4 of them in one swift motion, which saves you time. Second phase is the these other Bugsnax called Snackeries. They start popping out of the ground one-on-one, but you can actually preempt them launching by punching the ground that they come out of within a certain amount of time as to when they're going to launch, and they'll just explode, which also saves you time. And the third wave is these 2 praying Picantuses. Those are those Bugsnax we were trying to break earlier in the game. And what it intends for you to do is stay where you're standing, punch them forward, and then they explode into 3 smaller Bugsnax, and then you punch those smaller Bugsnax individually. However, if you jump behind them and then hit them towards Shelda and Floofty, you can actually run them into Shelda and Floofty, and they'll start to eat the Bugsnax, which is a lot faster than me just flinging the trap over and over again. In particular, that feeding part went really fast. It seems like they scarfed them right away, which is the fastest possible option here. One tiny exploit at the end here is I'm going to try and wedge myself in the geometry, which I have done successfully. All that does is save me about a second. As the story progresses, I'm just that much closer to the next challenge, which is barrels, the hardest one to do very fast. So barrels has us throw these barrels at Bugsnax. They're waves of 3. You're intended to use 1 barrel per Bugsnax, but instead I'm going to use 1 barrel per wave. I'm going to focus a little bit on it. Serious time. All right, that's a success. See if we can keep it going. You have to time it very carefully, not only... Oh, shit. Oh, no. I forgot that it's a wave of 3 and not a wave of 2. 3 waves and not 2 waves. That was my bad. Pretty good backup there, though. All right, there we go. All right, so So now we got the grape mosquitoes, which actually launch out of the ground. You can't launch your barrel too early. You have to wait until they come out. If you do launch it too early, you will still kill the wave. However, the juice will kind of stay within the mound, and it will kill the middle Bugsnax in the next wave, which the middle Bugsnax is where we base our anchoring off of to hit all the Bugsnax as once. We aim at the middle Bugsnax and kind of wait until they all converge with each other. Is that good? Yes, cool. So almost perfect barrels besides that one wave I had to back up on, but I did back it up pretty quickly, so I am happy with that. But yeah, it's very precise because you have to not only time the shot correctly so that it hits, but you have to it's actually decently easy to do casually because the launcher has like targeting, so like you can use individual targeting, but because we want to hit all of them at once, targeting individually actually doesn't help, so we don't get to use the auto aim of the heat-seeking nature of it. So that went pretty well though. Now we have a spike ball, and we're going to just be running over Bugsnax with it. This is pretty self-explanatory. The spawns are the same every time, so it's not like I have to react to anything live. I've played this enough to know where the spawns are going to be for the most part. They're going to come over here, and then for some reason, we're going to have, after this second wave of Bugsnax here, we're going to have these ones just spawn out of the ground out of nowhere. They're the only wave that does that without any like animation. I don't really know why. But they're easy to forget because of that, so it's just important to remember. So and sometimes if you go so fast, the animations themselves cancel out, so you can still see the sound, but like the sand, but you don't see like the mounds kind of erupting out of the ground here. All right, that's the last wave. Cool, and we only have one more gauntlet challenge here. Beautiful. For some reason, this is the only dialogue that's unskippable in the entire gauntlet. We just have to do all this. I don't really know why, but there it is. This last wave in the gauntlet just has a sling and sauce as normal, but the sauce we're using is special sauce, and it makes the Bugsnax particularly crazy. So crazy that we throw it on the ground and try and get them to run into each other and explode each other. There is actually an ideal way to do this faster, which I'm going to implement here now. First waves here, you want to just kind of put it directly in the middle. Essentially, we're trying to capitalize on the Bugsnax not having to walk the smallest amount of distance in order for them to explode. Kind of. Oh no, I did that a little wrong, but that's okay. We backed it up pretty well, but it was a little bit slower. These three are all the same. We have an unwritten rule on Bugsnax that you have to hit Whammas with some sauce. Oh, and this can happen sometimes too, where multiple Bugsnax kind of explode and then therefore there's one left over. But the game has a built-in fail-safe for that, which is that after a little bit of time, they'll just explode on their own, which is good. But yeah, I had one Bugsnax there who had no partner to run into, so it was just kind of walking aimlessly.
Okay.
All right, so we're actually coming up on time for the base game, but we can do, after we call time for this, we'll be jumping right over to the DLC incentive to showcase a 5th DLC boss. So thank you so much for everyone who donated to make that happen. I really appreciate it, especially for such a good cause. But for the remaining category here, we have about say about 50 seconds before time or so. So not too bad of a run, all things considered. My typical route got kind of messed up there, but we still are going to be well under the 1 hour estimate for the base game, so I do like that. Just have to wait for this to progress. Then we have this one last little beach sequence here. Worth mentioning, like if you just happen to play this game casually, you can actually, weirdly enough, the end of this game can get kind of serious. You can actually have characters die, in which case they wouldn't be on the beach. But the fastest way to complete the game is actually to have nobody die, which I think is kind of cool, because some, in games that have like good endings versus bad endings, to get the good ending you usually have to do something extra, right? But you actually actively have to be bad to get the bad ending, kind of evil in a way. All right, time is coming up for base game here.
Don't worry, you're fine.
And
Also,
time.
So I could.
All right. All right, yes, so that was Bugsnax All Bosses base game, but I'm not quite done with you. Since we're on the credits here, I just want to shout out a couple people. You can see in the credits here some people that I've gotten the pleasure to meet, Kevin Zune as well as Devin Scott Tunkin, who are both developers of Bugsnax that I came out and commentated my and Limey's run live at SGDQ from Chicago. So I appreciate you all doing that. That still was kind of life-changing. You're one of my favorite games. Got to meet some devs of it, and it was awesome. So I just wanted to shout that out before we bounced out of the credits. But now, thanks to your generous donation, we have another incentive to do here. So actually, I'm going to load in. Actually, I gotta load in a save for it. 1 second here. So the reason why I'm using a new game for this is that to unlock the DLC and to unlock this fight, it takes like an extra like 45 minutes or so on top of what we already did, because you have to do even more side quest lines. Then the DLC has its own quest line by itself, so on and so forth. So I want to be able to show off the fight without having to do an all bosses DLC category, because that category would be quite long. Okay. I'm not sure if we're running a timer for the DLC fight on its own. All good. If not, I'll say time regardless anyway. But
we can.
Sure.
Just
sure.
tell us when you're ready.
Sounds good. I'm gonna run there really quick, and we'll run the timer for the fight too. So this is Broken Tooth. This is a new DLC island that features giant Bugsnax and more unique puzzles and ways to capture them. We're not gonna be able to do any of that, but we are going to jump to the final DLC fight here. Okay. So here it is. You can actually see a statue of it right here. This boss's fight is called the Cheddarbortle Rex. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So Cheddarbortle Rex is a giant charcuterie board, and I mean giant, big old charcuterie board here. This boss fight is by far the longest, and by far has the most RNG to it. So the first round here, we have to hit this boss like a bunch of times too. So the first round here is we need to crack the glass in order to kind of make it more vulnerable and susceptible to things. So we have these giant other Bugsnax called Ched Orbs, cheese balls, if you will, and we have to clear out these launchers and then wait for Cheddarbortle to launch the Ched Orbs towards us. They get caught in those launchers. We fling them back at it to try and crack that glassy exterior. So that's round 1. Round 2, we're going to be doing a very similar thing, except the traps are even more clogged with debris. So what we have to do first is actually shrink 2 of these Ched Orbs so that they get into the debris and crack it up, and then now we got another launcher. It's also made a little bit more complicated than normal by the fact that Cheddarbortle will also start hucking rocks at us. Here's the RNG I'm talking about. So because the Ched Orbs are giant and always rolling around and kind of on their own cycles, sometimes you get stuck in this trap where Cheddarbortle Rex is going to throw the Ched Orb at you, but then another Ched Orb gets in the way, and then it bounces off trajectory, and then you have no choice but to wait. There's nothing I can do until you get one that lines up properly. All right. The other one is over here. And this will be the conclusion of phase 2 of this fight. This boss fight actually has 4 phases. So we gotta wait for another one here. Voila. Okay. Now phase 3 is the most annoying of the phases. So phase 3, Cheddarbortle's gonna get mad that we're hitting it. He's gonna open up these things, and you can see there are launchers that come from towards the ceiling. So same kind of deal. We're going to have Ched Orbs launched at us, but you can easily, what tends to be the case is that Cheddarbortle will launch a Ched Orb at your direction to get it up the ramp, but then it'll start throwing rocks right away. So you think you're lured into this like false sense of security where you can, oh yeah, Wow, okay, that one like went through, I saw that, went through the wall and then popped up over there. That was interesting. Anyway, you're lured in this false sense of security where you're like, okay, yeah, this is fine, I'll just launch it right away. But then when it starts throwing rocks, it blocks your shot. So you have to be weirdly patient or go a little bit risky and hope the animation's delayed enough for you to launch at it. That was a little bit risky what I did there, but it actually paid off because Cheddar Bortle was facing the other way, so it would have needed time to turn towards me before it threw rocks, and that benefited me. All right, last phase here. During the DLC, our regular buggy ball is turned into a giant buggy ball. So we're going to do the same old deal, which is that we're going to have Cheddar Bortle launch it at us, but instead of waiting for that, now we're going to navigate the buggy ball through these puzzles while Cheddar Bortle just kind of griefs us with the boulders. We can get hit as many times as we want. We don't have health in this game, so it's not like you can die or anything. It's more about puzzle solving. It's like a puzzle solving action adventure, collect type game, similar to like kind of Pokemon-ish, kind of like Ape Escape-ish in a way as well. All right, cool. All right, so the last one is in there. Now after this hit, the glass will break finally. Then we have to hit Cheddar Bortle with some of this shrinking spice, and then we're going to have to lure it into a trap, and then boom, it's done. Drunk. I'm gonna throw the trap here. Trapped, caught, and voila, time. That is the Cheddar Bortle Rex fight. And again, thank you so much to everyone who donated towards making that a reality. I love getting to show off as much Bugsnax content as I can, especially when it comes to raising funds for charity. So I appreciate y'all. Yeah, just a couple last messages so we can get the ball rolling here. My name is Conception. I wish I could say I stream regularly, but I really don't. I haven't streamed in months, but hopefully I will be back soon once I have a little bit more time on my schedule. If you would like to check me out, I speedrun Bugsnax, I speedrun some Pokemon games, and I'm also getting a reputation for starting to learn and speedrun bad games. You can check out my channel, twitch.tv/Conception. Appreciate you. Also, in relation to the awful block type games, I run a GDQ hotfix show called Awfully Silly, and that airs every second Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern as part of the Team Velocity schedule. I won't have another episode until middle of September because I'm going to be getting married next week, so I'll be away for a little bit. But yeah, come and check out Awfully Silly as well if you like. If your favorite block like me is the awful or silly block, but you like it in the prime time hours, come on by. We highly suggest it. And yeah, just check out this game, buy it. It's usually on sale, or if you have like Xbox Game Pass. Actually, I don't think it's on Game Pass anymore, but if you have the PlayStation version of Game Pass, then you can get it on there, or it's always on sale on Steam, and you can play it on Switch, any console, PC, whatever, what have you. And then speedrun.com/Bugsnax if you're interested in learning any of the categories, where we have a really great server, very friendly group, and love to help you out if you're interested in learning. But I think that's about it. That's it for me. So,
well, awesome. Thank you so much for doing a run this year. And also, congratulations on your upcoming nuptials. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, you're a great dude. One of the most genuinely nice people I've met, and I wish you nothing but success and love in your future.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you.
We are going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to hear an ad for Twitch. We're going to pay the bills and keep the lights on. When we come back, we'll be getting ready for the last run of day 2, Jack 3 by Outrageous Josh. So don't go touching that dial. We'll be right back.